you want to get started as an entrepreneur and you have an idea of the product or service that you want to offer the world, but you don't have much of an idea of how to put yourself out there, how to get your name out there, how to let people know what your offer is, who you are, what you're about. Pretty much, you feel like nobody knows you exist. You feel completely invisible. How do we change that? How do you start moving forward and sharing this opportunity, this offer, this service, this idea, concept, whatever it is, product, digital, physical, whatever? How do you do that? Today, we're going to talk about that on this episode of Home on Revolution podcast. So let's get into it. So, whether you have a physical offer, a digital offer, some type of service that you're going to provide, it doesn't matter what we're talking about here. You have something that is going to bring value to the marketplace, but you need to let those people know that you have this value, and nobody seems to know or care, right? So, one of the best ways to do this, especially starting out, is to make sure that you have a brand. And a lot of times, if you're an entrepreneur, you're just yourself in your company, right? You don't have employees working under you, you don't have a co founder, anything like that. And you're just starting from the ground up, right? Best way to start out is to be the face of your brand. Unless you want to totally hide behind a logo and let AI do it or something like that, which is a valid thing. And a lot of people do go that way nowadays, especially in the year 2025 and beyond. But what if you are like, I'm not super comfortable being on camera, maybe, but I understand that it's going to help me grow faster. Having your image in your brand, in your materials, is going to give to that no trust factor. And that's what people really need to feel confident doing any type of transaction with you, right? Because they want to know that you're a real person. They buy from people who are like them. They buy from people that they like. They buy from people that they trust. So you're going to have better and faster success in the beginning by doing that route. So if let's just assume that you're like, I'm fine, I can be on camera. I don't know if I want to make these long, extravagant videos or anything, but if I need to be on camera, if I need to add a phase or whatever, I can do that. So how do you get started? What is the best route to go with all these different versions and forms of social media, marketing, all these ways that you could potentially put yourself out there? What is the best way? How can you do this without completely burning out? So, in the beginning, when I started, and I had a couple little offers, I wasn't really 100% sure what I wanted to do. I was still in the process of writing my book. I didn't have any real high ticket, what you would call premium value offers, but I had a couple courses that I had created based on what I already knew worked. So, my very first course that I created was for helping moms get into, well, anyone really, to the Amazon influencer program, and it was called Simply Passive Profits. And I still have this course to this day, and it's a plethora of information. It has so much information, start to finish, all about the Amazon influencer program. And when I created this, I wasn't really sure how to tell people about it. So, looking back, the ways that worked the best for me, and when I say best, what I basically mean is how I was able to actually reach people and let them know what I had to offer, let them see the value in what I had to offer, was actually showing them the transformation that the offer provided. And what I mean by this is, instead of saying, and we're going to just use my course as the example here, instead of saying, hey guys, I have a course for $97 that's going to show you exactly how to get into the Amazon influencer program and start making money. I made $700 my first full month, and to date, I've made over $20,000. Now, that sounds good if you put it all together and listen to the whole message. But what about people who fall asleep 5 seconds in, right? Because that was kind of boring in the beginning. Nobody really cares about your offer, about your product. And unless it's like close friends or family, not that many people actually care about you. And that's okay because not that many people actually care about me either. So we have to stop making it about ourselves and we have to stop making it about our offer, about our product or our service, because nobody ever buys a product. Nobody buys a service. You don't go out and say, I want to buy this loaf of bread. I've always wanted to own a loaf of bread. No, you buy a loaf of bread because you want to have a delicious sandwich. So that is the end result. That's the transformation. So think about your offer in that way. You are selling a transformation. So if you can wrap it up in a story, that's even better. Telling someone, I was really scared that I would not be able to stay home with my babies, that bills were getting tight. It was becoming crunch time. We were getting further and further behind. There was more month at the end of our money each month. And it was getting out of control. Have you ever felt like that? Well, I had no idea, but I was sitting on a gold mine in my very home. So you could actually make money from making these really fast videos. Your face doesn't even have to be in them, of products you already have in your home. You don't even have to have gotten these products off of Amazon, you guys. Can you believe this? And some just little short things like that, putting it out there and letting people know transformation about that. And then, of course, you can go into how much you made and things like that. But letting them know the end result is being able to add a little extra income to your family's budget every month. Thus, you are able to stay home with your babies because that is what the moms are looking for, right? They're not looking for all these extravagant promises and claims. And my course contains 15 modules. That stuff is not only going to bore the daylights out of your clients or your prospective clients, but it's also going to overwhelm them. Because if you hear that somebody's course or whatever it is, even book has this many chapters, this many modules, this many lessons, this many hours long, they're gonna automatically think, I don't have time for that. I'm already busy. I don't need to add something else to my plate. So instead of giving them this rundown of everything that your offer comes with, you need to wrap it up in a way where you're just uncovering the value, the valuable transformation that your product or service is going to offer them. And then they'll be more than willing to hand over whatever you're asking as long as it's a value that is worthy of it. So you want to make sure that whatever your product or service is worthy of what you're asking for it. You also don't want to sell yourself short because cheap is never good and good is never cheap. Meaning, if you undervalue, and I don't care if this is a digital product, a physical product, a service you're providing, consider your time that you took to make this item. Consider your time that you may have to provide this person with your services. Consider all of these things, the time that you're going to be marketing, the customer service relate, whatever you have to do involving this product or service. Consider your time as the most valuable asset, but also consider the value you're putting into this. And this is why it's really important to do what's called value stacking. And Russell Brunson talks a lot about this. You can look more into his trainings. He talks a lot about this in his three books, Expert Secrets, Traffic Secrets, and .com Secrets. But it's value stacking and offer stacking. And you're thinking, you're going to brainstorm. And this is a nutshell. This is not like a whole lesson on it, but if say you have a training that you came up with and say you're going to teach moms how to grow tomatoes in a 5 by 5 square foot garden without any weeds or something like that. I don't know. I'm not really a gardener. I grew tomatoes once and I don't know. But anyways, so say you're going to do that. Now, of course, you could just provide them with this course, and I'm sure that there would be so many people willing to pay that much money to learn how to do that because they could do this in their apartment, in their tiny home, in a shared residence. Like, so many already, there's so much value packed into this training that you're creating, but you want to sweeten it even more. So you want to grab a whiteboard or a notebook or whatever you have available to you, a big blank, whatever, and you want to just brainstorm and grab your kids, grab your husband, grab your friends, whatever you have around you available, people. Even ask on social media in one of your groups that's in the same niche or friends, family, whatever, and ask, like, what do you think I could add to this offer to make this knock out of the park amazing? It's already great, but what would be like cherry and the whipped cream and the chocolate drizzle and the sprinkles on top, right? What else could I possibly add? And Russell actually recommends getting totally ridiculous with this. He says his team, when coming up with their idea, one of the things was have him actually fly to these people's home and help them set up their funnels that he has the software for them to create. And he's like, I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to fly to everybody's house. Obviously, that's not feasible. But get ridiculous with it if you have to. Just write down every possible way that you could add value to this offer. So, for the gardening example, you could send them a custom pack of seeds in the mail or some special type of fertilizer that you have. Or you could also include a little spreadsheet where they can make a blueprint map out of exactly where they're what they're going to plant and where, or include some type of a PDF file of all the different planting zones, what time of year, when you're supposed to plant to avoid frost. There, it's just endless the things you can provide. A community that they could connect to people, a monthly meetup of minded individuals talking all about gardening. There's the sky is truly the limit, and you want to pack so much value that your offer is easily worth 10 times what you're charging for it. And once you do that, and you allow people to see the transformation that your offer is going to provide, and then they see all the value that they're getting, it's going to be nearly irresistible for them. And that's why it's called creating your irresistible offer when people talk about that. And the only other element to that now, besides having a really good sales page set up and stuff like that, which there, again, I highly recommend Russell's trainings on this. He is the expert. I am not an expert, at least not yet, in setting up sales funnels and whatnot, but Russell's great with this. I definitely recommend checking out his books and materials. I will link them down in the show descriptions. The other thing, though, is how do you find these people or how do they find you so that you can uncover the value that your offer is providing? How do you find these people or how do they have them find you so that they can see all the value stacking that you've created in your offer? And the best way to do this that I have found, and honestly, for years this eluded me, and I don't know why, I think I just never heard it this way, but it makes so much sense if you think about it, is to not find them. Let them find you. And I actually talk about this in my book, Whole Mom Revolution, because when I learned this concept, it was life changing for me. It took so much of the striving away that I was doing, so much of the panicking, the I need to have octopus arms. I need to have my hand in 14 different pots at once. I need to be everywhere all at once. And of course, there is value in being everywhere all at once, but how do you make yourself findable? Because the easiest way to attract your ideal client is not to find them, it's to have them find you. And so, what that means is you're going to be putting out a ton of free content. And I'm not even going to tell you just at first. You're always going to be putting out a ton of free content. Myron Golden is I would say a level 10 expert at doing this. He has so much free content on his YouTube channel. It is mind blowing. Honestly, if you can go through all of his content, I haven't even made it through all of his content and I binge it on a regular basis. You are going to say, how is there anything left for him to sell? He gives so much away for free. It is absolutely absurd looking in from the outside. I actually signed up for one of his challenges because I was like, if he's giving away this much stuff for free, how good is the stuff he's selling, right? And that's what you want your clients to think of you. That's what you want your potential clients to think of you is she is giving away so much gold on this channel, on this whatever newsletter, whatever your form of reaching out to your people is, that what is her paid stuff? We'll have to know. And you can do that and you don't have to hold a bunch of stuff back. I hate it when you're listening to someone speak and maybe you're in a Q&A with them or whatever and there was any questions and you raise your hand and you ask a question and they say, well, you can find out more in my book or you can find out more in my paid subscription. You're here to answer questions. And I understand that the person isn't going to give you all of their secrets that they have in their $10,000 mastermind class or whatever, right? But if I'm asking you a really basic question and you just push me to your book or to your paid paywall, whatever's behind the paywall, it makes it feel like you're here to get from me, right? And we don't, that's just an icky feeling. We don't want to feel like anyone's here with their hands out waiting for us to give them something. So the better option and the biblical option is better to give than receive. Don't be afraid of giving too much away. There is so much information in your brain. I promise, whatever your niche is, whatever your specialty is, One, you have so much in there that you don't even realize that'll start coming out once you start creating this content and get the creative juices flowing. But also, you're going to be continually learning. Better be, at least. That's how you really grow and change and become the person that you're supposed to become. But you're going to be constantly learning and creating more knowledge and wisdom, and you're going to be able to share those nuggets with your community, which is going to enrich what you already are learning, and it's going to hit differently than it would if you just learned it and stored it in the back of your mind for a rainy day when you write that book, right? So don't be afraid to share stuff for free. Get yourself out there and start attracting your dream clients. And I can tell you that it is going to happen for you. When you have that mindset and that thought of, I just want to give so much free value and improve so many people's lives, it's going to come back to you tenfold. That's just how the world works. That's just one of the principles and laws of life and nature, right? So I encourage you, get out there, give this stuff away for free, and create something valuable. Create something worth someone exchanging their hard-earned money for. And you are going to see people start buying into your offer. So I encourage you, get your offer out there, get that free content out there, make yourself findable. Be bold, be courageous, take that first step in faith, and you are going to do amazing things, friend. Until next time.